Good morning. It is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our external environment, in our interactions with others. And if we want to see change, we really do have to shift and make change within. And that is what we learn to do here at Tuned In Tarot. So you might come here trying to get information about a person, your person, or whatever, and you're definitely going to get information about them, but it's just a reflection of your own energy. So if you don't like how their energy looks, you gotta work on your own energy. I can't decide to put my hair up or down. It's a weird day 2 after hair washing day, so it's like, I don't know, it gets like staticky or something. It's like, I don't know. It's like a weird thing that happens. I'm tired. I went out last night, which was very nice. I went to see my friend's show and it was good. But I'm just tired today. And I didn't even really get back that late, but I guess I'm just old. Okay, let's get started. So there's a reason that you come here. There's some messages that you're seeking to hear. There's something that you want that you feel is going to make you feel better. Whatever it is that you think will make you feel better. If you heard that message today, try to think of what that would be and just hold that in your mind lightly for a moment. So that is what you think you need, and here is what you actually need. So what would benefit you today after hearing these messages is the Prince of Discs and the Truth card. And this card says, an honest desire to know and speak the truth produces beneficial results. Coming out with solid, stable, reliable, very slow and steady moving energy from the Knight of Pentacles. So this might be about slowly and steadily embracing the truth, and this has produced beneficial results for you, or as you continue to slowly and steadily embrace the truth, it will produce beneficial results. But that is what will actually help you today. So I don't know what you had in mind, but that is what the universe has in mind for you. Okay, let's get started, shall we? We'll start with divine feminine first. Remember, your person, it doesn't matter what their gender is, they are going to have both feminine and masculine energy within them. And so are you. So the messages apply no matter the gender. And you can glean information about your situation from both sides. Okay. Top of the deck, overall headspace of divine feminine. I'm using the Mystical Moments Tarot today. And we are getting this really brilliant depiction of the Five of Wands that shows divine feminine playing chess. And she is holding on to two pieces, the queen, and we're assuming the king. The queen she's holding close to her heart. And we can't really tell if the king is being kept at a distance or drawn towards her. So the Five of Wands is a card of competition, conflict, internal struggles, struggling with ideas or concepts, being stuck or being at an impasse. It can be known as the card about feeling blocked as well. And so divine feminine, I think, is feeling very much right now that this internal struggle that she's been experiencing over the masculine and feminine energy has come to some kind of an end. It's like she's decided to honor her own energy and just kind of keep masculine energy at a distance at the moment, because trying to make the pieces fit wasn't working for her. And this is like overall consuming her headspace. She's like, I'm open to really, once the Five of Wands is surpassed, you're then open to the Six of Wands. You're open to experiencing success and victory and peace. And I feel like divine feminine is like, I'm not going to fight off my emotions about, seeking partnership or new ideas about partnership, or I'm just open. I'm really open right now. That's how the sense I get from her. The niggling thing that's worrying her in the back of her mind, the little thing that's underlying all her thoughts and decisions, is this Page of Pentacles energy. So she could have experienced some kind of a new offer of some sort. And maybe it's reflecting how she's more open to new opportunities right now. So if you're here about, let's say, a career rather than a relationship, this could be that you are fighting to be in this one job, or fighting for this one way of identifying yourself in terms of like how you brought in abundance, and you finally opened yourself up to new avenues, new ways of pursuing prosperity. This is also about analyzing the offers that you're getting. So, you're really sort of assessing what is being brought to you very carefully. The Page of Pentacles also has a youthful energy. This is obviously a young girl. And I think that's important too. It's like unblocking some of the things that have held her back since youth in regards to romantic relationships. But being able to start with a mind in looking at these concepts. All right. Oh, I forgot to turn everything over. Hang on. I forget during this spread that I'm actually supposed to see everything. Although when there's this much overthinking, yeah, you don't get too cocky, Divine Masculine. You are overthinking too. So the first thing on Divine Feminine's mind is this 10 of Pentacles card. She's really trying to understand what will really make her happy. She might actually feel in the moment that she has material prosperity around her, or just feel good about the material world at the moment. But I really feel for most of us, this is about coming to some kind of a realization. See how this family here, it's just silhouetted. It's not specific. The stately mansion in the background, nondescript. It's like Divine Feminine relinquishing some of these old ideas about relationships, love, money, prosperity. This is some of what has unblocked her so she can actually experience material happiness now. I also see this old man time kind of a thing, and a clock, which is unusual for a 10 of Pentacles, but there's something to do with the time it takes to create this happiness. And I get a sense of resignation, just sort of being resigned to the time that it takes. It takes how long it takes, is what I'm hearing. The next thing on her mind, the Three of Wands and the Hierophant. This is a card about patiently awaiting something that you can see in your future. And technically, I guess it would be like this because this card came out first. So we're seeing her looking towards her future, and she's seeing the Hierophant, which is having learned higher level lessons, making a vow, making a commitment, marriage, sacred union. So Divine Feminine is thinking it takes how long it takes, right? It didn't even really hone in. I didn't see this card to really be able to have pulled that. That's so funny how that happens, but it's just clarifying what I just said. She's patient. She's got her own ship. She's assessing the ships coming in and asking herself, does this reflect what I bring to the table? Is this a reflection of me? Is this what I want? Is this what I like? I see a divine feminine who's learned her lessons about accepting things that don't match her. That's something that's coming up for me, which is why there's a feeling of like, well, it takes how long it takes, because if it was easy to find people that match you, I wouldn't have a job. The 10 of Wands in reverse is the next feeling that's coming up, which is a time of having carried the weight and doing all the heavy lifting in terms of love. Good morning, Arby. In terms of love and romance, she's done. She's not going to do this heavy lifting anymore. She's like, if I'm going to have romance, it's going to be a shared task. You can ask my sign. I am a Leo sun and a Leo moon and a Pisces rising with a Venus in Virgo. I think those are all the most important ones for the context of asking my sign. So I'm a lot, and I'm very open, and I'm pretty funny, and I smoke a lot of cannabis. That sums me up pretty much for all my signs there. So yeah, divine feminine is not going to be carrying this burden or responsibility of coming into union all by herself anymore. She's carried it for a long time, while the divine masculine, I don't know, jerks a stick over there, and she's just like over it. She's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm really not interested in any offers unless I get a sense that there's going to be some kind of a shared experience of the relationship. For instance, I met someone last night. It was really nice. We had a crazy coincidence because I was born in the city where he grew up, and it's a very small, and he literally even knew how to pronounce my town name, which is unusual, and what my town was named after. I was like, what the hell? At this small bar in Los Angeles. One of those really interesting synchronicity moments. And then he invited me to do something else next week. Okay, it's not difficult to share the burden of developing a relationship with somebody. And I'm not even talking about romantic, I'm talking about even friendships, right? If you're always the one that's initiating, if you're always the one that's asking people to go out and do things and like never feeling like you're making an effort in relationships or the other people make an effort in relationships, that's what I'm talking about. It's not even just a romantic type of a thing. Oh, I love Geminis. My son is a Gemini. If you live in Los Angeles, you can meet me for a drink sometime if you'd like to go on a date with me. Thank you for offering. Look at all the offers coming into me today. See, divine feminine opened up to lots of offers, and now she's getting them, right? But she's not going to do the heavy lifting by herself anymore. I'm sorry, Bowie's got her favorite very loud toy. I love that one for you, babes. Hopefully she gets bored of it soon. Oh my God. A card I haven't seen, and also a big player from yesterday. Okay, so the next thing on her mind, clarifying this 10 of Pentacles, which is like finding her happiness, etc. We are getting the Page of Swords upright and the Devil in reverse. So I really love this. This is being brave enough to relinquish the attachment of some kind of an energy of addiction, somebody or an idea that she might have been obsessed with, an idea of a person, a specific person. Oh, babe. She's so loud. I'm so sorry. So we're seeing her being brave enough to release the power over her that this attachment had. However, this is also about pleasure. And so I do feel that divine feminine is right now, she's curious about how exactly to experience pleasure, because she wants to be able to do this in a sacred way, right? The Hierophant is a sacred energy. Sacred sexual energy is rare, you know? There's plenty of sexual energy out there, but sacred sexual energy is not as common. So she's curious about how to get her needs met in terms of pleasure and satisfaction, without being in bondage to someone or something, or without feeling like a shadow that's carried with shallow interactions, you know, really wanting to develop emotional bonds with people and have it be something that they both seek to do together. And then the Page of Swords, of course, came up. If you missed it, and we finally have the replay. If you did not catch us yesterday, Grace Dragon and I were able to have the replay available, so it is on Instagram. And the Page of Swords was coming up a lot yesterday, so still relevant today. Curious, brave. This can also be about no longer obsessively watching someone. And it can be about not wanting someone, this old guy, to watch her constantly either. There's a stalking thing that was going on here for a while, and so it could be about that. And here he is. He came up in the reading yesterday. Oh my gosh, you should definitely go see the reading yesterday. Holy shit, the next 2 cards. So this is clarifying the Hierophant and the 3 of Wands. This is who she's waiting for. A really good masculine energy. Now, it doesn't matter what gender it is. I'm any gender, transgender, whatever. I don't care what your gender is. I just love people. I am a people lover. And so it doesn't matter what the gender is, but it's the energy here of her seeking to come into a sacred union, patiently awaiting the arrival of this divine counterpart in the physical, this divine masculine who stands on his throne, protecting, providing. You know, what's really beautiful about this is the stag energy is no longer a thing. He's like stands on top of it. He's explored, he's done his thing, and now he's ready to settle down. And this is what Divine Feminine is seeking. This is what she's patiently awaiting. Hi. We can't go out right at this moment. You're going to have to wait a little bit. I'm sorry, my love. So that is what she is into. That is what she desires. That is what she wants. Stability. It's what we always want. It's really not that hard to read the cards like in that way. But this is crazy because this is how we started the Grace Drago reading yesterday with the 2 of Wands and the 6 of Cups. And actually, I'm going to put them like this because I think this is such an interesting thing to reflect upon in these 2 images. So I let 2 cards come out for this position, and what we're looking at, the 2 of Wands is associated with the twin flame journey, a soulmate type of a card. It's associated with Aries energy, being bold, seeking dominion over something. And the 6 of Cups, we have the feminine reflecting upon the past, and there's like nostalgia here and whimsy, but she looks pretty sober in her reflection, because when you do reflect upon the past in a healthy way, which this card is upright, you're looking at the whole thing. It's not just, oh, everything was, you know, bubblegum and lollipops. You have a sense that there was depth in your experiences that helped to form who you are as a person. So this card is about asking for something and waiting for it to arrive. And if you're not anxious, you don't really need to plan anything because you know it's coming. And when the 3 of Wands shows up, here it is now, it's coming, and you know it, and you can see it, the potential is there. So when we looked at this yesterday in the Grace Drager reading, it really for me was about divine feminine reflecting on a past relationship, a past connection, something she felt. And you'll remember this is doesn't want to do the heavy lifting for anymore. So if there is a past connection that she has, a specific divine masculine, an actual person, an SP specific person or whatever special person, she is no longer doing the heavy lifting for that relationship. She's embraced the memories of it. It feels blissful to her. She's embraced the spiritual journey aspect, but there's not really a feeling here of an intention to make this happen. It's more that she's understanding that her experiences are what has helped her to be able to attract this type of an energy, these new offers that are coming in, etc. So let's clarify the headspace now with the heart space. We have the top of the deck, overall feeling of divine feminine's heart space. What did I say? She's feeling stalked. This is a card of anxiety, the 9 of Swords. It's also a card in traditional tarot about waking up from a nightmare, though. So we know that she's been experiencing a lot of fear. And this is what's clarifying the unblocking. So if she's let go of a certain masculine and opened herself up to going on a date with somebody who asks you out on YouTube, she's experiencing some anxiety about being open now. The thing is, when you're attached to a specific past connection, it's a very safe and cozy place to be. Even if it wasn't a good relationship, it was familiar. And often our child selves were trained to accept uncomfortable situations and normalize them as love. But this divine feminine has done a lot of work. She's learned a lot about sacred connection and about what would make her very happy. So because of that, there is an unwillingness to just accept any environments where she is overburdened in any way. So this is frightening now because it means she's moving into the complete unknown. And to just reiterate that, this is the niggling feeling of the heart space, which is that 6 of Swords energy. You can see that devil energy kind of pursuing her as she goes off into her future. And this is that moving to the next level. And the thing that's really frightening about the 6 of Swords is that we don't know where we're going. And that's why we're assessing all these offers very carefully. You know, it's one thing to meet somebody in person. It's another thing to get an offer for a date online. You know, I mean, I'll get to know you. Go email me. All my information is below. I'm open, right? I'm open. But I'm also cautious because I have experienced something pretty fearful or traumatic that is keeping me a bit on edge. I also feel that the feminine is feeling like she is being watched, and potentially by an old flame, because we saw that father time sitting there, and we've got that past connection thing. So there is some aspect of the feminine here where she's feeling very watched. Good morning, Elevated. I do love that too. All right. So clarifying the 10 of Pentacles, we see the Ace of Wands in reverse. So divine feminine is maybe there's probably 2 things happening here. And honestly, they could happen simultaneously, but there's one feeling I'm getting that the divine feminine is honestly trying to suppress her desire for this old connection, because we see her thinking about it. And I can't get past this father time thing. Hang on, sorry. Keep smoking cannabis, though. I took 1 week off, and then I'm back on it. That's not going to help my singing voice, nor will the. Somebody brought me a mezcal at the end of the evening, and I'm like, no. First of all, I drink gin, Tanqueray and Club, or just straight. Like, just don't give me anything sweet. Ugh, I regret that. I didn't even get drunk. I just got a like. It just messes my voice up so much, and I hate the taste of it. Not worth it. Okay. Anyway. So, Divine Feminine trying to suppress her desire for this old version of what her happiness looked like so that she can remain open to anybody, right? This is also about her, I believe, just suppressing this desire to have the masculine be the fulfillment for her happiness. And there could be something in here about her happiness being, I don't want to say destroyed because I don't feel like destruction here, but maybe just being thwarted would be a better word, thwarted by sexual energy, like errant sexual energy, hers or the divine masculines. It's also 8:33 on the clock right now. I love that synchronicity. Clarifying the Hierophant and the Three of Wands, we have the Two of Cups in reverse. So she doesn't have this relationship yet. But she's waiting for it. And she's patient because she's learned her lesson that if you don't wait, then you just get a bunch of karmic stuff. And she doesn't want to have that again. She wants to have ease and flow in her relationships. This can also be about releasing that past partner that she had a desire for, that it's taken time for her to do this, to fully learn her lesson that she has to release this energy. It can also be that as well. And then the 10 of Wands in reverse is being clarified. Wow. By the 3 of Swords in reverse. And so this is like the wounds of the heart space being healed. Once the 3 of Swords flips over, these swords can just drop right out. And you can't heal the wounds until you remove the thoughts or ideas that are wounding you. And Divine Feminine being on her own and doing the heavy lifting while Divine Masculine gives to a third party. This is coming up for me here. This is the thing that has really been very difficult for her. It's like, how can he be so concerned about this other person when he's saying, oh, I love you and you're supposed to be the center of my world, and yet he's not sharing any of my life with me or the burden of this love with me, none of it. And I also feel Divine Feminine wanting to put down any sort of third party energy that she was holding on to. If she was holding on to something, just a karmic sexual partner, something like that herself, she doesn't want to hold on to that anymore. She wants to just let that energy go. Don't forget, this is your person too, not just you. If they have a karmic attachment, it's like their emotional side, their feminine side of self no longer wishes to hold on to it because they can see the pain that it is causing them and others. That's why I'm always warning you not to get too fixated on the masculine and feminine words as being gender specific. It's just an energy that I'm describing. The Page of Swords and the Devil in reverse is being clarified by the 6 of Pentacles. So we see that in some kind of a past situation, she was really being breadcrumbed a lot. And she's learning her lesson about how to be in much more reciprocal situations. Like, you might be an energy that has tended to fall in love with your friend or something, and the people that you choose to focus on are usually emotionally unavailable. Sometimes they're actually unavailable, like they're with another partner. It's like learning that in the past you could not get reciprocation because you literally chose people that would be incapable of reciprocating. And to this, I would hear, somebody protest and say, like, well, I didn't, that's just who I like. That you can't help who you love, kind of a thing. And it's like, you can. You should love everybody. You should have unconditional love for everybody. Even the worst human being on the earth deserves that love. And I will fight to the death over that. Even if the person I'm fighting for turns their back on me and betrays me because they're a terrible sociopathic person, fine. They inhabit a body on the earth. They have a soul. And even if it seems like they don't, they do. They've experienced suffering and trauma, and they deserve my unconditional love. They do not deserve my unconditional tolerance. I do not tolerate them walking freely about in society and damaging others' lives and hurting other people. And I do think that we have to prevent people from hurting one another as best we can. But vilifying, demonizing, and hating are not the way. So it's true that you should have love for every being. But you do have a role in who you choose to love. Part of it is cosmic, of course, because you do need to learn lessons. But you always have free will. You just always do. And you're like, no, I don't. I don't control my thoughts. No, you do. You do control your thoughts. You do have free will. But there might be something deep within you. There might be a subconscious pull, which is something you should get curious about, that is consistently causing you to feel attracted to people that you intuitively know and understand will never be able to return your advances in the way that you desire, which means you will always be left feeling like you want more. The people that I have been interested in the last couple of years have never asked me on a date. This lovely person here in this chat today asked me on a date. The people that I've been interested in never ask me on a date. They aren't capable of it. I am interested in people who don't have the ability to be emotionally available. And I'm understanding that's because I wasn't for a long time. I seem very open to you because I tell you very intimate things about my life comfortably. But I choose what I reveal, and I leave a big part of myself unrevealed all the time. So I do have an emotional unavailability with a lot of people. You can't do my job if you're not good at detaching or disassociating, because you have to. You know how many people come up to you for, like, as a musician and tell you, you saved my life. I heard your song and I was going to kill myself, and you saved my life. If I don't disassociate from the persona that people like idolize, I would go crazy. I would feel responsible for all the people who didn't have their lives saved by me. It's like you have to be able to detach yourself to a certain extent in the type of job that I'm in the job of entertainment. A lot of entertainers end up hurting themselves because it's very difficult to maintain that sort of emotional detachment with everyone in your life. But if you have so many people vying for you for your love, and they are vying for your love, you have to be very discerning how you give it out. But that can cause you to block yourself off to others too, and to be afraid of all of the connections that you have in your life. It's complex. This King of Pentacles is being clarified by the Four of Pentacles in reverse. I love this. This is you not being attached to any specific person, letting go of a specific person. In this spread, it's like you learned your lesson, and it's not like, oh, I learned my lesson, and now I'm going to be in sacred union with this person that I've always wanted to be with. No, You have learned your lesson that holding on to an attachment that left you wanting more, always wanting more, is not satisfying you. And when you let go, then you open yourself up to getting asked out on dates. And this Two of Wands and the Six of Cups here being clarified by the Five of Cups and the Ten of Swords. So this is two things, okay? This is what I said about the reflection on the past in the Six of Cups, where she looks a little somber. She doesn't look overly happy remembering things because she's probably remembering the pain and the disappointment alongside of the pleasure, right? And we see her sort of resigned to the painful ending of something and the sadness and the grief that is associated with that. But the Ten of Swords is a completion. This is a card that is an optimism that is like, I know that this painful time will end. I know it will, because all things end. So this will end. It's being optimistic that she's learned everything she needed to learn on the spiritual journey to be able to end the time of suffering and sadness that she's experienced looking for love. Wow, feminine, that's an amazing reading. This reading is going to be so long, but it was so good that I'm not complaining. All right, let's quickly go over to the masculine energy now and see what is going on for the masculine energy. Top of the deck, overall headspace, Four of Wands. This is another card associated with the twin flame journey because of the mirrored energy of the 11-11, or those the 4 wands rather, 2 wands on each side. We have the divine masculine thinking about marriage and celebration and having fun, having a good time. And just honestly, it's 8:44. Dang. Ready to celebrate sacred union right now. I feel really strongly coming from that. Oops, hang on. I have to turn everything over. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, everything's about to turn around. We got so many reversals for him. So he's like right about to turn everything around. The niggling thing in the back of the mind underlying all thoughts and decisions is the Ace of Cups in reverse again. If you did not see that Grace Traeger reading, go check it out. The Ace of Cups in reverse was a big player in that reading yesterday as well. So the energy from yesterday is still percolating here for the masculine. The Ace of Cups in reverse for me in this way is that he just wants to pour everything out of his cup at this point. He wants to just throw everything in and express everything that's in his cup. I don't feel this is about him needing to fill his cup. I think the cup is completely filled. I really just see this as him being finally able to just pour everything out, make this offer to the divine feminine. This is what he's really determined to do this week. Would love to see it. First thing on his mind, wow, the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Again, there's more union there for you. And he is ready to let go of his fixation on the time. And there's also maybe been something really fortunate that has come for him that has allowed him to stabilize. He's had a turn of luck or a change in fortune. But I see it because he's let go of his attachment to how long something is taking. This is allowing this change in fortune to occur. By the way, the decks I'm using, I realized I did not say, this over here is the Ostara Tarot. I was using that in the heart space. And I am using the Rachel Trueheart Intuitive Tarot in the head space. And we're going to be using vice versa in the heart space for masculine. So He's thinking next of the Empress, but she's in reverse. And I don't think this is in the negative way, that sometimes I associate Empress in reverse with a masculine who's kind of blaming the feminine for being the one that, like, you know, makes them feel some way. But I really feel that the reversal here is about the waiting aspect of this Empress energy. The Empress is gestating, you know, creating life within her. And so when we see the Empress upright, we understand it's a period of relaxation, rest, care of yourself, and awaiting the arrival of a creation. When I see it in reverse, for me, this is y'all are about to give birth. And because the all these cards, except for the Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Wands so far, have been in reverse, and in fact they will continue to be in reverse, this for me is like we are at this peak point right now, where everything is about to turn around. The Divine Masculine does not wish to make the Empress wait anymore. The next two cards that are coming up, oh my God. We've got the Six of Swords in reverse and the Prince of Cups in reverse. Six of Swords in reverse is being afraid, really afraid of that shore, that distant shore. In this Six of Cups, we've embraced that it is frightening to continue to go to this new place, but we're willing to do it. We're still going to go, even though we don't know exactly where we're going. When that Six of Swords is in reverse for me, this can be a resistance to learning some kind of a lesson, or just being so afraid you don't know what is going to happen, being really nervous, because you want to take something, you want to move on, you want to go somewhere. And to see this Page of Cups and know that he really wants to pour this cup out, I see that he's just really afraid of how to approach that Divine Feminine. He's afraid of how to bring this to that next level. You know, like, what do I say? Is she going to want to go with me? I'm kind of immature, honestly. I'm afraid she's not going to accept my apologies. There's definitely fear here about that next step. However, this Nine of Pentacles energy is in reverse because the Divine Masculine is ready to let go of this time in his life of being single. He is ready to also release his attachment to a specific Divine Feminine, which is really good. We saw the Feminine doing that over here, releasing the attachment to a specific masculine energy. In this case, somebody who's going to take care of her. In this case, somebody who's going to take care of him, because that Nine of Pentacles is like the self-care type card, and it's like putting it on someone else. So he's releasing his attachment to the Divine Feminine being the one who has to care for him. And also this for me is releasing self-indulgence. So if he's been very self-indulgent in that Nine of Pentacles energy, somewhat of a player, wanting to be or imagining himself this way, he's releasing his attachment to him, a vision of himself as like a bachelor. Here's the thing though. He doesn't want to make Divine Feminine wait anymore, but his High Priestess card clarifying, this is both of the cards in the deck that represent Divine Feminine. The High Priestess is the goddess of the moon that is ultimately the Divine Feminine. The Empress is that creatrix Empress energy of the feminine. This is the intuition, and this is the ability to procreate. And I feel the masculine is working on these trust issues. He likely let go of a karmic partner of some kind in order to be able to come into a sacred union with his Divine Feminine. So he's now having to work on these trust issues, trusting himself to know what to say, where to go, when to say it, how to do it, and trusting in his Divine Feminine that she is going to want him to come forward. He also is really intimidated. The Empress and the High Priestess in reverse is like, these are pretty intimidating energies. So he's nervous. He's really nervous about approaching. which is why this Two of Cups is in reverse. It's why he hasn't really made that move yet. If he's made any move, it's been pretty, yeah, you should come out sometime. You know, it's not been specific. It's not been like, oh, by the way, we have another card of union. I mean, I just stopped showing them because there's so many at this point. But it's not, in his headspace, he's not quite brave enough, right? Sorry, I just saw that it was saying my connection was unstable. So stop for a minute. All right, let's look at the heart space. For Aquarius season, the overall feeling of the heart space right now is the star energy. So look at this. In the headspace, sacred union, marriage, celebration. In the heart space, the star with my divine feminine. Willingness to be vulnerable, feeling vulnerable. Wish upon the star, his wish to be in union with her. It's very, excuse me, powerfully motivating to him. The niggling feeling is the Six of Swords. So that's 3 decks with the Six of Swords. Now, this one is from vice versa. Look at what the feminine is actually carrying. The masculine has given her the Ace of Cups, and now they're leaving this dark place where they've been, and they're heading to this new shore. But just like this card, we don't know exactly where we're going. So there's an uncertainty, but there's a willingness to move to that next stage. And I'm so fascinated by the fact that we see this Ace of Cups clarifying this card, and it's literally here with us, and the feminine has it. This cup belongs to this divine feminine and no one else in this masculine's mind. Clarifying the Four of Pentacles in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Six of Pentacles. That's right, kids. Another card of union. This is just insane here. We see divine masculine looking at this little village he has. I always think of this as like a Sims game. If we look from behind, we can see that his power comes from the divine, really. But in this image, we're kind of getting the sense that he feels like he's in control of the situation. And that, of course, is an illusion, as we see when we finally look at the back of the card and we realize that where he actually looks is into the distant sky. And that is where we see the purples, which is like the crown chakra, that connection to the divine. He has on the back of his coat all of the planets of the cosmos there. And the moon, of course, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. There's something missing. I can't remember what's missing. Oh, yes, the sun, which is depicted instead through the Pentacles energy. But so this is interesting, cosmically connected to this as well, to see all of those. There's something about the cosmos here that the divine masculine is feeling is significant. The timing. Now, this can also be about breadcrumbing, right? It's about only offering a little instead of reciprocating at the same level. So I feel like divine masculine has missed opportunities in the past to reciprocate, and he's thinking about that. Oh, wow. I love this. What is clarifying the Empress? Well, we already saw below the Empress, the High Priestess. What clarifies it from the heart space? The High Priestess. And this time, she's upright. So worked out the head space, the fears of trusting the feminine. The heart space isn't afraid. He absolutely trusts in this divine feminine energy. He also trusts that he made the right decision, and he's sensing this balancing within himself, which is So the divine feminine in reverse, it can also suggest something internal or inward. And so there's this sense here that this divine feminine is blossoming inside of him, growing inside of him. And this is her sacred inner chamber here that we see behind her. So this is what is literally within the divine masculine. He's been allowed into the sacred chamber. The Six of Swords in reverse and the Page of Cups in reverse being clarified by the Six of Wands. This is the victory, the willingness to proclaim victory, bringing peace to the two of them, an offering of peace to that feminine energy, and public victory, sharing it with everyone who has been a part of this whole journey. So his family and his friends, and just telling them, I love this person. I want to move in with them. I want to share my life with them in some way. And it's overcoming the nervousness in the headspace, and just the heart space is like, look, I don't care what you think. This is how we feel, and we're going to do it. Wow. The Page of Swords again in the same position as the feminine. And the feminine's Page of Swords was also about releasing a karmic, and same for the masculine. So we see, and that was clarified by the Six of Pentacles, and that is what is just above this card as well. That's insane. So this masculine is very vulnerable right now in this energy of learning to release his attachment to any specific things in the world, not just in terms of releasing a specific partner, but just material attachment. He's also gotten curious about his self-indulgence, which is, and same with divine feminine, looking closely at her self-indulgence. For instance, it is self-indulgent to choose people you know are unavailable. It's like you choose what you spend your time thinking about. And, you know, you'd be like, oh, no, this person just pops into my head. And it's like, okay. But there's some aspect of you that enjoys the feeling of it. So you keep going back for more. You keep looking. You keep watching. You keep clicking on their posts. You keep making up stories about what you see. The divine masculine is needing to release this behavior just as much as the feminine, but he's also being very brave right now and just picking up the sword of truth and being very honest with himself about his self-indulgence, about the repercussions of player energy, that kind of stuff. It's bravely looking at it, taking a good hard look. Then we have the freaking Ace of Cups, clarifying this High Priestess in reverse. It's the Ace of Cups again. And in this case, it's upright, and we see this feminine in this fountain with all this water pouring out. There's a peaceful dove here. And we look at the masculine approaching. There he is, that Page of Cups that we saw coming over here. He's right over there. And he's approaching this feminine who's very vulnerable, awaiting this offer. Okay. So we see him, and this is, of course, clarifying divine feminine waiting. Okay. She's been waiting. She's literally turned into stone waiting for him at this point. And divine masculine is wanting to go and offer the divine feminine some kind of a love offer. I don't know exactly what it entails outside of the fact that it's stable, permanent, and committed. Long-term and committed. And then finally, what is clarifying this Two of Cups in reverse? It's the Page of Wands. So this is just grabbing the bull by the horns, just grabbing that wand and just being inspired to go after this physical meeting, to overcome the fear about approaching the fountain and just go ahead and do it. so that you can have this new exciting time. This is like being, again, curious too, just like that, the Page of Swords energy. But we're in Page energy here. We did not see Knight energy come up for this masculine. We saw almost entirely Page. We had when the Knight energy did come up, he was afraid of it. So it's like he's gearing up to come in and bring this victory, but he's still kind of a little immature about it, still a little uncertain, and might be still some sexual energy here that he's really needing to like tamp down. All right, beautiful. Let's go ahead now to the billions of oracles and finish out the reading. Okay, Divine Feminine, you are in the light attributes of the Knight. This is loyalty, romance, and chivalry, and a love of honor. You no longer have an allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle or romantic delusions. So you, when you are assessing these offers, you know you're no longer delusional about the people that come to you, where you think to yourself, oh, if this person was completely different, they would be perfect for me. No, you're not doing that anymore. You're really being much more discerning about who comes towards you, and you're honoring feelings of loyalty, romance, and chivalry, and that is attracting that type of energy to you. Your guardian angel is here to support you in sleep. Either you've not been sleeping well, or it's a time for you to rest right now. You don't need to do anything to get this energy to reflect back to you. It's just like you're already in this energy, so you can just rest now and let them come to you. Girl, they're coming to me on my YouTube readings today. Like, that's never happened to me before. I've gotten insulted before. I've never been said, oh, you're very, like, I'd love to take you on a date. Right? It's like, just rest, Divine Feminine. You just sit back. They're going to come to you one after the other, and you're going to be able to just be like, oh, this one makes me feel good. This one, not so much. This one, right? Like, it's, you are open. You're afraid. You're afraid because you actually were choosing people that kept you closed off for a reason, because you had to face all these fears about, up leveling in relationships and actually having a good one. You're afraid, but you're curious, you're willing. And so is Divine Masculine. He's afraid too, but he's curious and willing and excited. He's excited and inspired. There's a lot of us who've released past attachment, and it looks like this new energy is coming in, and that we're open to it, and we're not letting our fears about the unknown keep us from going there. That's a really exciting thing. Oneness is my true nature. Believing that this is true relieves you of the burden of seeking a third party. And you're like, what do you mean? I don't want a third party. I just want to be in a union with my Divine Masculine. And I'm like, that's so cool. You're in union with your Divine Masculine inside yourself right now. You just saw all the cards come out. You're in union. Separation is an illusion. You think that you have to be with a physical person to be in union, and you don't. When you achieve union inside, which is the acknowledgement that within you are one, and you are one with all consciousness, and you are one with all the beings, and that's why all the beings deserve love, then that external manifestation can come in. But for as long as you feel incomplete and you're seeking that completion outside of yourself, the universe isn't going to give it to you. My sister was talking to me in frustration about this situation of being fantastic people and having to wait so long to partner when you see all these people around you partnering. And I'm just like, oh, I understand how frustrating that is, but you don't understand that you asked for more than that. You asked for more than just coupling. You didn't really want just coupling to be your end game. And even if you're like, bitch, I do, that is what I want more than anything, I guarantee you, if you did, you'd have it, because the universe gives you what you want. The universe doesn't know what you want per se. It knows where you're at. So if you say you want something, but you don't feel it, it cannot give it to you. If you are seeking oneness and wholeness, but you don't feel it, the universe can't bring you an offer that looks like oneness and wholeness. Because you're saying, oh, I want to feel complete. And the universe is like, well, bitch, you're never going to feel complete with just another person. You're going to feel incomplete. And then you're going to have to like do all that person's laundry and shit. And you don't want that. And now you're yelling at me because I didn't give it to you. This is a thankless job I have here, taking care of this entire universe with my mind. Divine Feminine, you're getting this call to friendship. How are you going to get these offers? Guess what? I went out. I mean, I got one in my living room too today, but, I went out and I got offers. There was even people who went home disappointed last night. I saw it in their eyes. They were like, oh, she's going to pay attention to that guy? Well, fine. Yeah, I am going to pay attention to this person. Bye. There's so many people. You have to go out. You have to have fun. You need to have a good time. You need to focus on the loving connections you have with your friends. We feel like, oh, I need a romance because I need love and I need connection. And they're like, no, you don't need a romance for love and connection. You need a romance if you want to have sexy times without being complicated. But you don't really need a romance for love and connection. You've got it all around you all the time. And remember, if you remember that oneness is your true nature and that you're always surrounded by friendship and love, you're Gucci. Also, friendship is a big theme for this next month because of that Mars-Venus conjunction that is happening right around Valentine's Day, which is basically a cosmic shift that will last forever after, that helps to bring about stronger, more stable friendships in all of our relationships across the board. It gives you that opportunity to have a very strong friendship connection. Have faith in your dreams. Can you just have faith in your dreams? Oh, please. Have faith in them. You've asked for something in the Two of Wands. You're holding on to that world that you want dominion over. Just have faith that you get what you've asked for. It's all over all of the ancient traditions, ask and you shall receive, knock and the door shall be open, that kind of stuff. Sisterhood of the Rose. This is more friendship stuff. Beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher. This is also you really engaging in teaching others what you've learned. It's the best way to fully learn something is to teach it. And I can definitely attest to that fact as a teacher of many things. I teach voice, piano, music production, life lessons, I guess, and teaching them is honestly the way that I learn the best. So get out there, start to teach others about these concepts that you've been learning. Your guardian is Ant Spirit today. Time to collaborate. And there was a protection message here. I think I just read this the other day. Do you really believe that you have to do everything yourself? Do you believe that somehow any help you get will be disappointing or not good enough? Perhaps it is time to address your issues of control and bias toward the negative. It doesn't matter where or why you came to be pessimistic or mistrustful. The fact that Ant Spirit is showing up now is a sign that you have an opportunity to heal and to relearn to trust that others will show up for you in a genuine way. Ant Spirit wants you to remember that your expectations and limiting beliefs are a vibrational offering that draws in the opposite of what you desire. Spirit wants to help you and will send collaborative partners your way. It's time to see the universe as conscious and connected, loving and helpful. But you must participate in this activity of co-creation. Creating reality is not just about dreaming. If you are feeling orphaned from community, reach out and communicate. If you feel vulnerable, Know that being present in your vulnerability can help you draw in someone who wants to assist you. Trust in your partnership with spirit, and your outer conditions will start to reflect that. Then you will see the miracles waiting for you, including partners who appear ready to lend a hand, which is literally what we talked about when we talked about this not wanting to do the heavy lifting by yourself anymore, and now partners showing up that are willing to reciprocate, right? To actually share the same amount of investment in the relationship. I love that. And here's your theme for this week. The Princess of Discs. This is the page of Pentacles that I literally just held up here. And passion. It will take passion for you to push through your self-criticism to get to a place of confidence. Wow. And you need to go one little step at a time here, but it's going to take passion to push you through, which I really like this message. Let me read the full message to you. This is number 63. I feel like we always get the cards that are like in the 60s. We don't get like the first like 10 cards from this deck. The passion card is an indication that you need to maintain the level of passion that you initially manifested for the matter in question. It is a reminder that a half-hearted, casual approach to living your life creatively is doomed to failure. You will succeed only when you fan the embers of your deep desire to live life to the full into a roaring fire of an overwhelming need to take action to make it real. Passion enables us to overcome the inevitable obstacles and distractions that arise when we declare our intention to devote our energy flow and our limited time on earth to exploring what interests and excites us. Living passionately is like having a love affair with life. Wow. Contemplate that, Divine Feminine. I want you to really absorb that lesson and carry this with you through this week as you take these small steps to push through any resistance you have to following your passion. Divine Masculine, your turn. You are in the light attributes right now of the hedonist. This is inspiring creative energy to embrace the good things in life and celebrating the beauty in yourself. And you're releasing the pursuing of pleasure to the detriment of health and indulging at the expense of others. And we saw you releasing that self-indulgence there with that 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So you are really in the light of this energy right now. And you're inspired and celebrating the beauty in yourself. Your guardian angel is here to support you in blessings of abundance. We did see that fortune card coming out for you. So you are receiving abundance right now, and it might be an amount that you're not used to receiving, and you're going to receive guidance in how to manage it, how to handle it, how to open up to it. Energy flows where my intention goes, Divine Masculine. Don't forget that. If your intention is for love and commitment, then that is where your energy will flow. If your energy is afraid of commitment, then your intention is to protect yourself from commitment, then that is where your energy will flow. So if you're like, oh, I want to be with my person, but you have this deep-seated fear of commitment, then your intention is not to be in commitment with that person. Your intention is going to be based on the fear. It's colored by the fear, which is why we have to kind of go in and excavate and find out the source of these delays. Prosperity. 2 cards, abundance and prosperity. And this is one where you're feeling like you might not know how to handle it all. And your guardian angel is here to help you with this prosperity. You absolutely can handle this. You got 2 moonology oracles. It's time to release negativity, and you are good enough. So whatever negative self-talk you have going on is undermining your confidence. It is literally time to release that. It is very much holding you back, and you have to let it go if you want to be able to enjoy the abundance and prosperity that's here and available to you. Wow, look at Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? And this has a Page of Swords energy to me. This is about that bravery and about truly answering this deep calling, which for you is to come into union with your star here, this feminine energy. You're getting the protection message of the scarab beetle spirit, and it says magic works through you. It is number 52. Do you doubt your unique inner magic? Are you afraid that you have no originality or that creative juices don't flow through you? Perhaps you mistakenly believe you are not the creative manifesting type. Scarab beetle spirit's message is that creativity is a living force that comes to all of us from spirit, who wants every person on the planet to manifest magic and co-create the world anew. You are as capable of resilience and innovation as anyone. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So draw inspiration into your being and begin to playfully create something new. And do it without any judgment. Creativity and magic are your legacy as an expression of the creator. So let them flow through you. And I love that because your reading ended with this Knight of Wands energy, and it's literally urging you to draw inspiration and begin to playfully create something new and do it without any judgment. And that's absolutely what this energy of the Page of Wands is. So I think that's beautiful. I also see you as wanting to stoke the fire with, if this divine feminine has been unwilling to allow you to come in because of their resistance, something like that. This is about you stoking the fire and rekindling the connection. And here is your theme for this week. You are getting adjustment or justice and communication. The clarity, interactivity, and timing of communications is critical. And we're communicating truthfully and honestly, and restoring justice to the connection. Let me get you the messages from the card. This is number 31. My nose is stuffy, guys. Oh, every time I go out, I get whatever cold as soon as I come home. Haven't had COVID yet, but get every other freaking cold. The communication card is an indication that how well or how poorly we communicate our vision to those with whom we wish to share it is the key to understanding the situation in question. Communicating with another person creatively requires that we present to them what we wish to be communicated in a way that they can best understand and respond to. This requires us to see them as they really are and tailor our communications to their needs and ability to understand. Sometimes this card can mean that other people are not communicating well with you, and this needs to be remedied. Communication is the very soul of creativity. It can burst the seemingly impervious bubble that often exists around even the most creative projects conceived and executed without thought of or interaction with other people. Alrighty, so that is Divine Masculine's work for this week, is to bring justice through clear communication, to bring clarity to the Divine Feminine so that she understands the truth about his feelings and about whatever happened, if that is important for her to know. Although a lot of this I see as new energy coming in. I know many of you come to these readings because you want to come into union with the past energy. So far in the last 2 years that I have been doing these readings, it is my experience that rarely do people come back into union with the person they're focused on, because typically the person they're focused on is somebody they wanted to be with when they were a past version of themselves. And the past version of yourself, after going through all of this healing, would never want a person like that. They would, this new version of yourself has a difficult time wanting somebody that is as deficient in their own self-love as the person that you're usually focused on. So what happens more often than not is eventually after, I can tell you these words and they're not going to teach you. You'll have these experiences and that will teach you. You'll remember what I said and you'll be like, oh, that's what she said. But don't feel bad because you're not meant to hear what I say right now and just do it immediately. You're meant to learn your lessons and have experiences and just have a frame of reference for when you actually experience the lesson. But majority of people continue to try to recreate that past relationship, not understanding that the person that they're focused on is a very limited version of what they are actually able to manifest once they fully come into their power. The twin flame journey is about coming into your power as a spiritual being, an enlightened spiritual being. It's got very little to do with physical connection on the planet. I don't know any true authorities on the twin flame journey. There is none. There's not an authoritative doctrine. There is not an authoritative school of thought. The only information about twin flame that you can get is on the internet from a bunch of random people, most of them below the age of 30. I put very little faith in what people below the age of 30 say about religious concepts that are supposed to have existed since the beginning of time. Where is your information coming from? I don't understand. So I really feel that you should let go of a lot of the storylines that you're being exposed to, because I do feel that it's keeping you stuck in a pattern where you're holding on to people that are usually pretty emotionally abusive, emotionally withholding individuals. And they have their reasons and you know them all. You know all their excuses and you've forgiven them for them and you have unconditional love for them. That's great. You're supposed to. You're supposed to have unconditional love for that person. However, true spiritual mastery, true emotional mastery is that you are not attached to any specific desire. Your desires are, they come, you feel them, they spark inside of you. Usually the ego motivates it. And then if you become attached to it, the ego will protect you either from receiving it or losing it if you get it. So you have to release the attachment to that thing in order to receive it. And it really won't work any other way. How old was I when I started my spiritual journey? This fucker who does this, I don't know why they do this. Son of a bitch. Oh my God. In New York, that would get you fined $500. Like, you can't do that in New York anymore. They will fine your ass. Anyway, I was born into a religious family. My mother was Catholic and devoted and very into like visions of Mary and mystic concepts. Although she has a very traditional view of Catholicism and is not open to sort of the more esoteric meanings of Christianity. But I've always been spiritual since I was little. I had visions and some things happened to me as I was growing up, but my actual moment of realizing that I was on the twin flame journey, it came, I want to say in 2018 is when I first started to listen to like twin flame readings, I think, because of a relationship I was in at the time. And that relationship, I was like, oh, these readings are about that person. I'm like, oh no, they're not. They're about this other person who's my twin from a long time ago. But I started to awaken to some aspects of the journey even before that. I just didn't associate it with twin flame. I would say some of the peak moments probably started for me when I was like around 29, 30. That's when I started to go back to school for what I really loved. I wanted a divorce from my ex-husband who was very abusive. I think that's probably when I started to wake up. So roughly about 10 years ago. All right, let's complete this reading. So we're at the point now where we're going to look at the oracles for both the masculine and the feminine energy, and then we'll close the reading out after that. If you would like to book a personal reading, all the information is below. There's a course running right now called Spiritual Nourishment, Becoming the Empress. It really helps you with learning how to trust your intuition. And I start using food with it because food is a place where we're often taught not to believe in ourselves and that there's all these rules and stuff we have to follow about food. But really, your body knows best. And it's kind of the first place to start testing your intuition. If you're interested in learning about that, there's a video below that describes the course. I post some cards to kind of give you some messages about spiritual nourishment in general. That video is below. It only costs $55, and you do get a year subscription to the site. So you can access the Tell Me Everything spreads. And I have an announcement. This is as irritating for me as it is for you, so I do apologize. But as of next week, starting next week, the oracles portion that I'm doing now will no longer be a part of the main reading. It will be extended on my website. It's not difficult to be a member. It's only $3.33 a month, or you can purchase the Spiritual Nourishment course. But then you'll be able to see the healing and the oracles part on my website, which is still a YouTube reading. You just have to access it through the unlisted link there. So basically, I will do the masculine and feminine, and then I will stop the reading for YouTube, and I will continue over to the extended version. There will still be a live link, so you can still follow it live. It's going to be a pain in the ass for me, but it'll be super easy for you. You'll basically just be able to click another link and start the video with me. All right. Anything else? Wednesday, I will be doing obstacles removed here on YouTube. Thursday, I do the Tell Me Everything spread. That's on my website. And Friday will be Release and Rebuild. And then Sunday with Grace Strega on Instagram or on TikTok. First, for an hour, we do some free readings. You can ask questions. And then we do a divine check-in, and you can do a choose your own personal reading. And that one went really well yesterday. If you didn't get to do that, you can still go over and choose your own personal reading during the replay. Okay, let's close out this reading. Hey, you both are in the shadow attributes of the lover, which is obsessive passion that harms others and self-destructive devotion. You need to come into the light, which is great passion and devotion and unbridled appreciation of someone or something. I think this is more that you have been working through this shadow. Both of you have released some kind of karmic attachment that you had, or some kind of obsessive watching that was going on, where you were constantly watching and spying, looking, trying to see, and all you were doing is just seeing exactly what you didn't want because that's what you were looking for. So you're really still working through this tendency to be a bit self-destructive about how you love others. And you know, I'm watching Euphoria right now, and it's, I don't know if you've seen that show, but the drug addiction combined with being addicted to someone in terms of their love and their affection is very poignant in that show. St. Catherine of Alexandria is here to support you in marriage. And seeing as you got the Hierophant for the feminine over here, and we got the Four of Wands, you're both thinking about these long-term commitments. Whether you want actual marriage or not, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a traditional marriage, but you're both right now being supported in thinking about and preparing for long-term commitments to one another. You're receiving this message. Instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good of all. Now, that's what I do every day when I have you think about what it is that you think you want. Oh my God, yeah, last night's episode. You think about what you think you want, and then I show you, well, this is what you actually need, right? And you find out what you need is the truth. And you need to embrace the truth about yourself, and you need to move slowly and steadily and into this next progression of this next phase, right? So that's understanding that if you were focused on your outcome would be like, I want to be with my person, or I want to be in this job, or I want this, that, or the other thing. And that's the only thing that would matter. When in fact, embracing what would be for the highest good, if you embrace what the highest good is right now, it's not being with your person. What's for the highest good is an honest desire to know and speak the truth, to produce beneficial results. It's to move slowly. It's to be reliable. It's to be honest and be in your integrity. This is actually what's in the highest good of all. It has nothing to do with you getting down with, your person. Not at all. That's something nice that happens, but that's not what's for the highest good of all. What's for the highest good of all is learning how to move truthfully, honestly, be reliable, be solid. You're getting this reconciliation card. There are those of you who have been disconnected from one another, waiting for apologies, etc., and those apologies are coming in. There's also just reconciling things. Like, I can't reconcile this. I can't hold this thing and this thing together. It's like being able to reconcile things that have happened to you, the reasons for things. It's 9:33 on the clock right now. Emotions are running high. So this is the super moon. This is just being very, very sensitive to the energy right now. It's like this is a good time for communicating your emotions, but at the same time, your emotions are running high. So you need to be aware and be sensitive to that. Creating heaven on earth, it is happening. This is the Lemuria card. And this is really believing that it is happening right now, that the spiritual journey you are on, that we are all on, is literally creating this heaven on earth, this peaceful foundation that we can build relationships on. Snake spirit, time to heal. And this is the protection message. 55 card. No matter how much you may have lost or how you have been disappointed, you are called by Snake Spirit to shed the past and practice radical self-acceptance now. Only by forgiving yourself can you move on. That reconciliation card. Regardless of whether anyone else is ready for healing. When your tender new skin first becomes exposed, you may feel uncomfortable. Love yourself and remain vulnerable anyway. You have been weak, but now you're becoming strong and developing wisdom, and you will do better in the future. Snake Spirit reminds you that hearts can be so easily wounded. Apologies and amends go a long way. Self-forgiveness for your role in what happened can help you heal. Remember, it is the one who has been wounded who often has the greatest power to help others heal. And before I give you these final messages, there's one thing I forgot to announce. I'm actually running a discount right now. If you use the code TheLovers222 when you check out on my website, you'll receive 22% off of any of the services on the site. It even includes the packages. The only thing I think it doesn't work for is spiritual nourishment. I don't think they let you put discounts on packages. Don't quote me on that. You'd have to try. But everything else should be 22% off. So if you wanted to book a full-length reading or a session with me, all that information is at the link below. And here is your final theme. This is the nature card and the Ace of Discs. It says, go out in nature as much as you can, for its pure creativity can teach you everything you need to know. And this card, the Ace of Pentacles, is actually, it's often a green card because it is actually about the abundance that is present in nature. How all you need is just right there, growing, like the food that you need to eat. It grows and walks around, and you can just get it and eat it. Like there is this, the illusion that we live under, that there is lack, is a construct that is necessary for capitalism to survive as the main type of economic system and influencer of how our society is ruled. And it literally creates false scarcity so it can create a demand. Like, for instance, there are people who go to bed without food in our country every day. And there are pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of food thrown away as garbage every night from restaurants and grocery stores. Surplus food, too much food and starving people. Oh, I'm sorry. Capitalism is the best system that's ever existed. And there's no better system than capitalism. And capitalism is the only one that's ever. And if we didn't have capitalism, we wouldn't have any innovation. Fuck you. You are buying into the biggest load of bullshit I have ever heard. Congratulations on believing in literally an illusion created to make sure your life sucks just enough, but not too much that you're going to revolt against the people who figured it all out and fucking take advantage of you every day. There is infinite abundance on the earth, and it shifts and adapts as we shift and adapt with it. It's an organic system, and we're part of it. We might not have come from it, but we're part of it now, and we have adapted to it. So believe in the abundance that's here. Believe in the prosperity and the wealth, that it is a part of nature. It's literally a part of nature. And the other thing that this card says in the book is to understand the nature of the person you are dealing with. That's another big lesson that comes from this card. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I shall see you on Wednesday. Tomorrow is my day off. If you book something or you send me a message and I don't return it right away, do not panic. I shall return it directly on Wednesday, or Ash, who works with me on Tune and Tarot, she will get back to you tomorrow too if it's emergent or something like that, because she usually checks the messages before she goes to bed on the East Coast to make sure that we didn't miss anything too important. So if for some reason you don't hear back from me tomorrow, it's because I'm taking my day off and I only take one. So don't begrudge me that. I hope everybody has a very lovely day today and that you are really following your passions, communicating, and getting out into nature, because that was the energetic work that would be most helpful to you this week. Take care, everybody. I will see you on Wednesday.